Yeah, we just did the first meeting in Base Menachem Mendel in probably 10 weeks, I'm guessing.
Oh, great. When? Tonight?
Mincha, yeah. Yosef and his Adam and Rabbi Nemes were over by the house.
Oh.
So they wanted to make a mincha. So.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Okay. So the first minyan now in how long?
10 weeks.
Wow.
I'm guessing 10 weeks, maybe 11.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Maybe even 12, actually.
Yoel. Okay. So tonight we're going to start, as we did in the last couple of weeks. Before we start the Gemara, we'll start with the biur in the Siddur, where we're holding in the second bracha of Birchas Kriyishma. The Din in Shulchan Aruch, and the Alter Rebbe brings it, and Simon Samach Aleph, that when we say Uvonu v'charta mikol am v'loshen, that the Eibusha chose us from all nations, a person has to be machaven the zman of Matan Torah. And also the bracha, when we conclude the bracha, we say Haboicher be'ama Yisrael ba'ava. The bracha is concluded about the Bechira, about the Eibusha picking the Jews as his nation. And we're standing right now in the Shloshis Yimei Agbola, getting ready for Yom Tov, Chag HaShavuos, and that's the day that the Eibusha picked, and it was B'Yom Beis which was the second day after the Chodesh, that the Eibusha told Eden, Atem Tioli V'Yisimli Segula Mikol Ha'amim, that you will be a unique people for me. And that's on Yom Tov. We say in the beginning of Shemona Esra, Ato bechartonu mikol ha'amim, that you chose us from all the nations, you loved us, you had desired us, you elevated us from all languages, you sanctified us in the mitzvahs, and you brought us close to your service, and your holy and great name you placed upon us. Ato bechartonu mikol ha'amim, ahavta oisanu v'rotzisabanu. Veroimam tano mikol ha'shono yidashonu
b'mitzvotecha
v'keinu la'avodotecha
v'shimcha
Gadol v'yakadosh
shaleinu korasa. The Jews are the chosen people. What's the pshat that the Jews are the chosen people? There's this beautiful story in the Kovetz Mechtovim that's in the back of the Siddur. A collection of Mechtove Kodesh that connected to Tehillim mainly. And there's a story about the Rebbe Marash in the summer, and the little kids are arguing what's so special about a Yid and how is a Yid different than a Goy. And the father calls over his daughter and he says, Valeh, tell me, what are the boys arguing about? And she says that they're arguing about what is the difference of a Yid of a Goy. One says that the Jews are unique, they're Amachochem v'Novain, they can learn a lot of Torah, they can daven with Dveikus, and they're arguing about this. What's special about the Yid and what makes a difference of a Yid and a Goy? One of the brothers answered, so the one of the brothers said that the Yidden are special, but the other brother said that's a Yid that's special because he's an Am Chochem v'Novain, he learns a lot of Torah, Niglan Kabbalah, he davens with Dveikas, but how about a Yid that does none of the above? What makes him special? So the older brother, Reb Zalman, had no answer. The Rebbe Marash told his daughter to call the kids, and he also said that they should call, he had a Meshoris, a very simple Yid, his name was Ben Zion. He said, call Ben Zion. Ben Zion came, and here is the story, the way it's printed, and I'll read it in Yiddish. Wenn Ben Zion is gekommen, fragt ihm der Seide, Ben Zion has gegessen. Ben Zion, did you eat today? Ben Zion says, yeah. Der Zayde, hast gut gegessen? The question that the Zayde had gefragt, in other words, the Rebbe Marash asked him, you ate well? Was says good, said Ben Zion. Baruch Hashem, I'm satisfied. So again, the Rebbe Marash said, and why did you eat? So Benzi says, to live. And again, the Rebbe Marash asks, and why do you need to live? Says Benzi. Ich soll kennen sein Ayid und tun das, was der Eibishter will. And he gives a krechts. So the Rebbe Marash says, Kensgain, you can leave, but do me a favor, send me the wagon driver, the goy, Ivan. When Ivan comes, Ivan was a goy. But he grew up among Yidden. He spoke good Yiddish. He spoke perfect Yiddish, this guy. When he came, the Zayda says, "Sein gegessen? Did you eat today?" Yeah. Was good gegessen? Yeah. Slibosas to gegessen. Why did you eat? Der soll keiner leben. To live? Why do you have to live? So the guy says, what do you mean? Kedech soll kennen nehmen a trunk Brom von ihm verbeißen. Now I should be able to drink, take a good shot of vodka, and have some food with it. Okay, Kensgain, says the Rebbe. He turns to the sons. You see, a Yid betivoy, he eats to live, and he lives to be a Yid and do the rotzen of the Eibishter. And at the end, he gives noch a kerechts, because he thinks that his avodas Hashem is not pure through and through. But the guy, his life is to drink and to eat. And he gives a smile. That's from the pleasure that he's thinking in his mind, the unbelievable pleasure that he has from the eating and drinking, which is the tachlis in his eyes. The Alter Rebbe says in Tanya that what do you mean? How do you pick a Jew over the Eibush to pick the Jew over the Goy? Avram serves him, Yitzchak serves him, Yaakov. There's a shift they called the Eden one Golas, took them out of Golas. Could you say you picked? You mamish, you picked. You had a bag of rocks and a bag of diamonds. Incidentally, you picked the bag of diamonds. That's not called picking. Bechira means the two things that are equal. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. There's two black books. They're the same thing. There's two black tables. The same thing. If one table is white and one is black, it's not really bechira anymore. You didn't pick. If you need, for your purpose, a black table, so you're not picking. You're trying to figure out what you really need. Okay, that's something else. That's not called picking. But picking bechira chavshis essentially means that they're equal and you picked. It's in you. But if there is inherent difference between one and the other, that's not called bechira. That's called figuring out the difference. So sometimes you figure out the difference. You figure out what you need. That's not called bechira. How is that bechira? When one thing is a bag of diamonds, a yid has a neshama. So how is it? What does it mean the Eibush to pick the yid? No.
Yeah. I'm watching it now.
The Eibush picks the yid. The yid is a yid. Benzi is benzi. Ivan is Ivan. How is it shaykh to think that we're going to pick? Are you going to pick Ivan over benzi? A yid is a yiddish neshama. Neshama shenazata bi tohira hi. Ata verosa ata yitzarta ata nefachta bi. How is it conceivable that there's two things in the Eibush makes a bechira? Therefore, the Alter Rebbe answers in Tanya. Uvonu v'charto mikolam v'loshen hu aguf ha'chumri ha'nidbe b'chumri usei legufei u'meisoilam. We're talking not about the neshama. There's no contest between the neshama of a yid and the neshama of a goy. The bechira was in the guf of a yid, not in the neshama of the yid. And the guf ha'chumri is nidme b'chumri usei legufei u'meisoilam. The guf of the Jew looks in the outside just like the goof of a goy. The Jew has a nose and the goy has a nose. The Jew has eyes, the goy has eyes. Now what's the difference? So the Eibishter was boicher of the goof of a Yid. Fragt the Shaila, the Rebbe, I don't understand. If you go into a store, right, you buy a gift to your wife. You're buying an expensive piece of jewelry, a few $1,000 piece of jewelry. Yeah, as if you're talking to say that you picked this over this because this had a nicer wrapper. What's the difference, the goof? When you're being boicher am, a nation, how could you look at the toffel and say we're going to pick this over that? They're the equal, but I'll pick this. But the ikar of the person is not as goof as in the neshama. How do you ignore the neshama? So the Rebbe says we're talking the Eibishter picks the goof of a Yid means that the Yid does his avodas Hashem with the goof. Just like the Eibishter is bechira in the Yid is bechira in the Eibishter. The Yid is bechira in the Eibishter. It says in the pasuk, and it's of him. Rei nosati lefanecha ayoim es ha chayim v'samoves es ha toiv v'sara uvacharta b'chayim. So the Meforshim asked, if the Eibush is telling you that this way is derech hatoiv, and this is the derech hachayim, and the other one is derech hara and derech hamoves, well, how could you say a contest, a wacharta, that you should choose? Obviously, if I'm telling you now, if the Torah is telling you that this is the derech hachayim v'atoiv, and this is the derech hamoves v'hara, there's not such a thing as picking. What do you mean you pick? But there's no picking here. The Torah has to just tell us that ein asati lefanecha yoim is a chayim v'satoiv v'samoves v'sara. Okay, in Pshat you say it's redundant, it's emphasis. He's telling him twice the same thing, but the truth is that it's shver. If you're telling me that this is chayim v'toiv and this is moves v'ra, what do you mean you have to say bacharta? Once you figure it out that this is chayim v'toiv and this is moves v'ra, once you figure it out, obviously you want chayim v'toiv. No, the answer is that the Eibishter says, even though derech hatoiv is derech hachayim v'atoiv, and the opposite is moves v'ra, but the Yid serves the Eibishter not because this is chayim v'toiv, because of acharta, because he does mitzvahs, because just like the Eibishter is bacharta, uvonu bacharta mikolam v'loshen ata bachartonu mikolo amim, the Eibishter picks the Yid picks the Eibishter, not because the mitzvahs has such a beauty in it, and the Torah has such a mesikas to it. That's the difference between a Yid and a Goy. There were Goyim that also did avoid to be mezachich their guf. If you go to Pennsylvania, you'll meet the Hamish can meet the Amish. The Amish are also cried Hamish, and they believe in menschlichkeit, and they believe in zeisapechalechem, and they believe in integrity and in honesty and in being a mensch. So what's the difference between the person that is in the Himalayan mountains and he's a really good person and he wouldn't even kill a fly, and his avodas haguf to mezachach his midos, and a Yid? What's the difference between the guy that trained himself to have mind over matter, between those people that could walk over hot coals and not flutter because they have mind over matter? What's the difference in their zichur haguf and the zichur haguf of a Yid? The difference is because the guy says that what's a moiser adam in a behema? What's a human being better than a behema? Behema is chasing after a pack of straw, and the human being is chasing after the behemoth to eat some of its meat. There's the same thing. So a human, so he wants that he should be a human being, a roy lishma. He wants to be worthy of being a human being. So his purifying his guf is not l'shem hakadosh baruch hu, it's l'shem himself. A Yid, his avodas Hashem is for bechira, because he picks in the Eibishter. He's boicher in avodas Hashem not because he sees the beauty in avodas Hashem. There is beauty in avodas Hashem, but that's not why he does it. In other words, the nations of the world, those nations that work on themselves, they not to indulge, for example, in taivas and pleasure, Because a person that indulges in taivas and pleasures like a behemoth, and they want to be a ben odom. But a yid, when he doesn't want to indulge in taivas and pleasures, because the pasuk says la taiva yavakesh nifred, he doesn't want to feel his metzias in a way that then he's far away from the Eibishter. The guy he works on this midah of gaiva, that he should be humble. Why should he be humble? Because there's jealousy and rivalry. People can't live together. People kill and there's war, and there's no end to the pain. So you know what? Let's get along together. Let's be nice to each other. Let's pick up the quality of life. If we can all forgive each other and be nice to each other, we could all live a good life. That's not why Yid works on his midas agaiva. Yid is humble because the Eibishter says, "An ein anivu hu yochaylam lo de bekfifa achas." He wants the Shechina should rest by him. And if he's a Baal Gaiva, the Eibishter cannot rest by him. So therefore, he's an Onov. That's the difference of the Vodas Zicha Chaguf of the Yid and the Goy. And that's what the Eibishter picks. The Eibishter picks in the Guf of the Yid, which in the outside, it looks doimet to the Goy. But they live a totally different life. Even the Goy that's Mevar and Zach his Guf is a very different life, the way the Goy is Mezach his Guf and the Yid is Mezach his Guf. Beautiful point from Rabbi Gopin, who has a terrific sefer. It's a terrific sefer. He says that we have to be careful when we machanech our children. Sometimes when you're on the ceiling before you get to the first floor, there's a little bit of a shaky chinuch. It's very important that a kid should grow up knowing, and we should teach our children that gaiva is not a good way, because if you're not going to be sympathetic to someone else, if you're not going to understand someone else won't understand you. If you won't be mevata from yourself, the other person will not be mevata for you. If you want others to understand you and feel you, you should understand and feel them. If we're going to teach them right away, we have to be bottle, we have to be bittul. You know why bittul? Because ain't Eibishter, ain't Rebbe, ain't oid malvadoi. And if a person is a balgaiva, ain't anivahu, the Shechina can't rest. The problem is that we have a generation that are inconsiderate to someone else, because I'm taka nothing, but the other guy's also nothing. How's a Choshev Yid Nanash tell me the other day? Every Lubavitcher thinks he's a half a Rebbe. It's like I'm thinking such guy in the cloak of bittul. Kilo the best. What are you passing judgment on others? So it's important that we don't jump up on the roof before we walk the full flight of stairs. Yeah, emes that it's kedai to go not just step one, we should go step two, but we have to start step one. We have to explain a kid that a yid has to care about the environment, and a child has to grow up knowing about the cleanliness, nikoyin, derecheretz kodma latoira, and taka. You have to be a mensch, and then people will respect you, and you'll respect your parents, and the mitzvah, your children will learn to respect you and treat you the way you treat your parents. It's a shame. This is good. That's the foundation. Versteht sich that then we have to go into Chassidus Chinuch about understanding that the world is made and everything is the world is the Eibishter's garden, and it has to be a beautiful world and a place of kedusha and so on. Untershashura is that now that we're in the days getting ready of Matan Torah, and the days that we're getting ready of Matan Torah, we'll talk about this much from the Kol Yom Rishon, because an interesting thing someone asked me today. But it's brought that in the Sforim HaKadoshim Ladina, and the Rebbe says it in Avodas Hashem, that every day is a day really which is like shtikla Yom Tov. That's why we don't say Tachna. Alter Rebbe says in the end of Simon Tov Tzadik Dalad that the first was Rish Chodesh, and then he told them Amalechas Kohen Avodah Goy Kodesh, and today he told them it's Sagbal, and tomorrow he told them it's Brisha. So every day, Kol Yoma v'Yoma is Ovid Avidate. There's an Avodas Hashem. Every day is Avodas Hashem. And the first step in Avodas Hashem is that we have to know Vonu B'Charta Mekol Am V'Loshen, that it's Avodas Hashem with the Guf. That emphasizes the word that we were learning Sunday night, that every Yom Tov you're allowed to fast besides Chag HaShavuos, Shlahadis, Shenoyach Umekubel Yom Zeh Shenitam B'Torah Yisrael. Dafka and Shavuos has to be that the Kedusha touches not only the Neshama. The Neshama is not the Chiddush of Matan Torah. Matan Torah is not the Chiddush in the Neshama. The Matan Torah is the Chiddush in the Guf of the Yid. Is the Inyan of Bechida that the Eibishter is Boicher in the Yid, and the Yid is Boicher in the Eibishter. David shall help that we should make all the achonas, starting from the achonas of Atam Tiuli, Mamalechas Kohen Kodesh, that we should feel the Gewalt and the Bechida, that the Eibishter is Boicher in us, and we're Boicher in the Eibishter, and the Meile that's really there in the Guf, and the Eibishter shall help that we should be Zoiche to be Makabel the Torah Besimcha Bepnimius.
Amen.
Ato v'chartonu mikolo amim hafta oisanu v'rotzi sabonu v'rotzi mametanu
מכל לשון
קידשתנו
במצוותיך, קידשתנו מכנו לעבודתך,
ושמך הגדול והקודש ישכח היתו וחרתנו מכל העמים מכל העמים אהבתו יסוד
ורצית בנו
והיממתנו מכל הלשוינוס וקידשתנו ושמך הגודל הקודש
עלינו קראת
הגודל והקודש
עלינו קראת
Okay, very good. So this concludes the part of the shir that we're learning about the second bracha. In Mitzvah next week we'll get reading the text, but the Stachmamish this day it's Ashgocha protest that in the Seder we're learning it, and we're holding in the second bracha, which is Mamish about Aboichem Amisrael Be'ava, Vonu V'Charta Mekol Am V'Loshen, which, as we said, the Alter Rebbe says that every day when you say the words of Vonu V'Charta, you're supposed to remember the Zman Matan Torah. Because Zman Matan Torah, the Chidush of Zman Matan Torah is that was when the Eibishter said, Atam Tiuli Mamlechas Kohen V'Goy Kodesh, At Tiuli Segula Mikol Amim, Ata V'Charton, and that's when the Yid were picked. And as the Alter Rebbe says, that the picking in the Yid was in the Guf, and that's where there's a Bechira. Also in the Oifen Avodas Hashem, the Yid does in the Guf, is a totally different avoid than as bitter v'zich the Guf of a Yid and a Goy. Okay, let's go to the Gemara. We're holding and Daf Tes Zayin Amud Aleph. The truth is, it's Tes Tes Vav Amud Base, the last 3 words, the last 4 words. Sagt die Gemara, Mamish, I can't believe the Ashgoch Iyun. The Ashgoch Iyun about the Gemara that we're learning tonight. But it's just unbelievable. First of all, the Ashgoch Iyun that we're holding now in the second bracha, Krishma Bonam Bacharta, and it's the night of the Shloishes Yemei Agbola. But then when you learn the Gemara, it'll blow your mind away. And you see what we're going to talk about now in the Gemara. Before we start the Gemara, someone asked me today an interesting shaila. It's his son's birthday today. Do the Upsharnish today or to do it Erev Yom Tov. So it's an interesting shaila. It's a good shaila. Chabad, the minig Chabad is not to take a haircut, until Erev Yom Tov. Right. So, what's the reason? Now, Yom Yom it says that the Daf Nun Tes, today's a Yom Yom, right? That the Rebbe Rasha was those that took haircuts in the Shlosh Me'agbola is ein ruach amor noiche menu. He didn't like it. Like Losh ein ruach chacham noiche menu. Didn't like it. Why? But Pashtus, apidin Shlosh Me'agbola, you're allowed to have marriages. You're allowed to take haircuts. So Mela, what was the problem? So the Pashtus, the problem is a pikabola. There's no other way to explain it. But that Arizal was very makpid not to take a haircut until Mamish Erev Chag HaShavuos. Why? And noch Akasha, the Reb Chaim Vital says in the Pri Eitz Chaim in the Shar Tzfiras Ha'im at the end, he says it's like a appella to him because the Arizal took his son to Miron on Lag Ba'omer to give him a haircut, but still he held that otherwise that's like a yotzim min haklal. But otherwise you're not allowed to take any haircuts. Let me read it to you. Moiri zechroina levrocha loy hoye mistape mer pesach ad erev shuas klal v'ikar loy beresh chodesh v'loy balag ba'omer v'am datam shloy legalech b'yom kvar yodata ki yesh tikun echet begulgalta v'hu nikra amar nekei. Yesh tikkun abeis and nikra toila de bedoilcha. So what's the hezber? So it's not explained here. So in the Pri Eitz Chaim has 2 hagos there. So it's not clear the hago is from the Reb Chaim Vital himself or his son or a Talmud, but it's probably from someone not a Katal Kanya, not a Heka Peka. Someone that was roy to write hagos in the Pri Eitz Chaim. So he writes like this. It's not a din of avelis. So he says the pshat is like this. That there is oimer. The word oimer is amar nekei. It says that Daniel saw the Eibishter atik yom Yosef. V'sar reishe ke'amar nekei. That he saw atik yom like a zokin, and his hair was white and very clean white locks of hair. So amar oimer la gulgoilus. Oimer means hair. Gulgoilus means the skull. The hair coming out of the skull. And oimer is with a vav, and amar and the k is without a vav. Fakir, that's the chos of vav is amar and the k. So what's the pshat? So I think based on what we learned, the Maimer Erev Shabbos, I don't want to use chas v'sholom make tova plus there, but I think which is a dava poshut. There's two parts in Sfira. B'chlal, there's 2 l'choira in Yonim and Sfira. One is super duper positive, and one is the thing which is Deutsch Tikkun. There is the Iyun of Talmidei Rebbe Akiva that were meisu befrois atzeres. which is l'chayda inyan, which is doirish tikkun, and therefore requires inyan of avelus and so on. And then there is the unbelievable positive, like the Ran says that they were misasik the Kabbalah Satoira, and the whole inyan of counting is the Eden had unbelievable cheshek and odds in the Kabbalah Satoira, and they were counting down the days to come to Kabbalah Satoira. So, bepashtus Sfiras Omer, even before you get to Chassidus, is the Chamoidik inyan a mitzvah. Every day you do. Where's a chodesh that every day you do a mitzvah? Sfiras Omer. Sfiras Omer is very positive. Now, we learned Friday that in the attitude towards here, there's two. Nausea.
Please put on mute. Please put on mute.
It's unbelievable. Like, so the only way it can shine out the kedusha is if you have a little bit. Otherwise, everyone will explode. So there has to be a little bit. There has to be sidus that come out. Therefore, the sidus of a nazir has an intrinsic.
Rabbi, can somebody be quiet? I don't know who's talking, but we can't hear the rabbi. Please, somebody.
So that is a negative. I mean, a positive. And then there is that by Isha is already mamal kalamim, that it's already a gilu that's mitzumtzum, and if there'll be a bigger tzumtzum, fakert, it'll be a chisaron. Because it, like, you know, when it gets dark, all the cockroaches krichnaros from the lecha. You know, the low tovniks, the no goodniks come out. The ganovim, the gazlonim, they come out by night. And once you shine a big light, they run away. The makif is masama ein chetzonim. So therefore, we don't want to have sidus from the inyan of Isha. So over here, we're talking about the positive. There is in the inyan of Svida, not just the inyan of Avelis. He says that it's not a din of Avelis. Had it been a din of Avelis, shloishes me'agbola, shenishtaken Avelis. There's no Avelis of shloishes me'agbola. But it's a din in Kedusha, similar to a nazir, which is Amar Nekei, Sar Eishik Amar Nekei. Oimer, which is Meramis to hear. Lagul Goylas that comes out from Galgalta, from Atik Yomim, from Reisha de Loisiada. So therefore, you're not supposed to cut your hair. So Kaponim, bottom line, I said the interesting question was that because the kid has his birthday today, and Shloshis Megbala and Apidin, you're allowed to, so should you push it off or not? Anyway, that's an interesting shiloh. But the Lamaisa, this is the Inyan is not a negative. So in other words, I'm being miyashiv here. Lapoil, the early years the Rebbe was ein daito noicha making chasnas and shloshis me'agbala, and then the Rebbe said they should make chasnas shloshis me'agbala. But the Rebbe never changed his thing about haircuts. So you're going to say, hey, keep shloshis me'agbala, not keeping shloshis me'agbala. But depends. You could answer simple. The Indian of not making a chasana is a din and avelus. So we could say shloshis me'agbala, there's no avelus, so you can make a chasana. Binyan not cutting your hair is a positive inyan to do with the Sfiras Omer. The last day we take a haircut, it's already for the covered Yom Tov, it's a different inyan. But we're trying not to take a haircut, but it's the inyan of Maila, which is Omer la Gulgoylus. The inyan of Gulgoylus is the inyan of Keser, Gulgoylus, Ariach Resha Delois, Atik Resha Delois Yada. And from there comes out Chayes Metzumtzum, which is Sidus, Amar Nekei, Omer la Gulgoylus.
Marsov, my son Mendel Schnell, when he was 3-year-old, his birthday is in Cholamoed Sukkot.
Yeah.
I went to Rabbi Marla and I said, no, we don't take a haircut on Cholamoed.
Right.
His birthday in Cholamoed, what should I do? She said, make the option in the sukkah.
Interesting.
So I did make an option. I said, I bought a barber to the sukkah and I make a big party in the sukkah. And that's what happened.
Very nice. There's a shaklatah you talk about Cholamoed.
But
see,
it's the same concept or it's completely different?
Yeah, no, it's interesting that ad kedei kach that we're makel legabi. Not everyone. It's like a little shona b'machloikis, but we're makel legabi cholamoyed, and here legabi svira not.
Right.
We see that svira is a very strong thing, but that klal cholamoyed is stronger than l'chayr svira.
Why the guy wasn't magdim the erkot for Lag Bomer if the birthday is today?
Not allowed to be magdim. The Rebbe says it doesn't make sense to be magdim because it's like the magdim is you're not doing an opshanish. It's you can't be magdim. It's like there's not chalois yet. There's no chalois of the concept yet. You know when you can't. You know if before Lois Shachri you daven, you didn't daven. If you daven, then you didn't do daven's man tefillah. Okay, you daven before chatzois, but like you know what I mean. You can't do it before the time.
So how the other Hasidim, not Lubavitcher Hasidim, all different Hasidim from the United States, when they go to Eretz Israel, let's say the kid is 2.5 years old, they're already in Eretz Israel with the kid, they go to Miron and make options.
Right, the Rebbe holds you can't be magdim. Doesn't make sense to be magdim. The Rebbe holds totally doesn't make sense. You cannot be magdim. The Rebbe holds
Okay.
because it's there's not yet the Eis Rotzen for the kedusha to be chal. The Rebbe holds not to be ma'acher, but but over there's no choice. Whatever. I mean, you have no choice. You have to wait for Lag Boimer, and after Lag Boimer, you have to wait for Erev Chag HaShavuos, and there's other times you're not allowed to cut. You wait till after the time.
So in this case,
Could I say a story that happened to me?
What?
In this
Can I
case,
say-
you wait 3 days. You wait 3 years to wait 3 more days.
Yeah, you wait 3 more days after 3 years. Yeah.
Can I say a story that happened to me?
Yeah.
When I was growing up, at that time I was in before 3. I was in New Haven, Connecticut, and my parents came with me and my sister to Yechidus, and my mother asked the Rebbe, the people think that I'm a girl because I have long hair, if she can cut my hair before. The Rebbe got very upset, and he said that you don't want to mess around with the mazel of the child. Don't cut. He suggested that she should pin it up. So as my mother said that if the Rebbe said that, she didn't touch my hair at all the whole time. She pinned it up.
Very nice. Very nice. Thank you very much, Bencha, for sharing the story.
No, Rabbi, I learned that
the Rebbe
the
felt
reason-
that if you do the opshanish even a day early, you didn't do an opshanish. That's not called an opshanish. And there's a Eis Rotzen that when you didn't cut the hair for 3 years, and then you cut it, there's a very special thing.
I learned that the reason we don't cut our hair between Pesach and Shavuos is because we came out of Mitzrayim, and the Oros, it took us 50 days to get ready to get Kabbalah Torah. So the Oros came down those 50 days. And today, after Hayoim Hazeh, at the same time between Pesach and Erev Shavuos, the same Oros come down and it comes into the hair. According to the Arizal, where exactly it is, I don't know. Maybe Chaim Vital writes about it, or one of his Talmidim. Mostly, the Oris that came down when we left Mitzrayim till Matan Torah, come down today also. It comes in the hair.
Okay.
That's why you can take a haircut Erev Shavuos. That's already. Now you should wait till the day of Erev Shavuos time.
Very nice. Very nice.
I learned about Rabbi Milstein. I mean, he learns this Nister. That's his Mr. Nister.
Okay, Mr. Very good.
By Cholamoid, you won't say Shemet Tikanis Meguna Leontiv because it's a child, so it's not a penalty.
Oh,
No?
I hear. Very nice order. Very nice order. Very nice. Also, he had no choice. Father had no
Right.
choice also.
Meaning he's not, like you said, it's not Chal the mitzvah to do upsharon,
Right.
so
Right.
he's not going to plan to do it on Cholamoid. It's not negay before Yom Tov.
It's not in the gear before, exactly. Very good, very good. Yeah, very good svara. Okay. Let's try to learn a few lines Gemara. As I said, it's mamish amoyedike ashgoch el yoina that we're learning this Gemara now. Daf tezvav amid beis, the last 4 words. Amar chama ber bchanina lama nismacha aholim lenechalim. Why in this when we see when in the nevuah of Bilam, when he gives a bracha to the Yidden, he says Kinecholim nitoyu keganes alei nohar kaholim and not Hashem karozim alei moim. So what's the kasha? What's the kasha? Rashi says that the kasha is poshet. We're saying the mile of the Yidden, that the Yidden are mamish like the waters, that they are mamish like waters, kinecholim, like rivers that spread out like gardens that are growing on the river, and then all of a sudden jumping in like pitching tents. What's the meaning of a pitching a tent? To here we're talking about the mile of water that spreads out, and beautiful gardens that grow on the riverbank and so on. And what's it do with the tent? That's what Rashi says. Tosfos says a little differently. Tosfos says, "Pira shekunta ksiv nacholim netoik kaholim nota, v'linir da'olim madaikra lav loshen oyel al loshen besamim." I mean, it's all the whole pasuk taket. There's no shaila, like waters that spread out, like gardens on the riverbank, like beautiful gardens of besamim that grow on the water. Elanirim in the samach matov alachin Yaakov. What's the connection to the previous pasuk matov alachin Yaakov? Okay, either way, there's a kasha here, and the answer is lemalach. Just like the river, the mikveh makes that a beach should get picked up from Tumat Tatara, the oilim of the Beis HaMeknesses and the Beis HaMedrash, it picks up the person from being in a kaf koychayve to being in a kaf schus. How does that happen? Pashtus, because this person sits and learns. But we see here from the Gemara a maila in the Beis HaKnesses and the Beis HaMedrash. When a yid felt that in the Beis HaKnesses, there's a few pshatim. I mean, Bachlal, this is l'chayre the Makkah the Rambam. The Rambam says at the end of Hilchas Mikvos that Kashem Shemachav Liber Latar Kivin Shetova Al Tor V'Alfa Pisha Lenis Chadash Begufei Dover Kacha Makaven Liber Latar Nafshe Betumas and Afoshes Shemachshavas Aovim V'Deis Roz Kivish Hiskim Beliber Lifresh Mois and Aitzes Hevi Nafshe B'Mei Adas HaTor Tor. And that's the Indian of the Gemara saying here. But there's three pshatim here. One is the from the Goan. The Goan says that the Torah is like a mikveh, just like in the mikveh. As the ma'im shekol gufoil bahem, as called besoroi. That if you have one finger out, you're not yoitza. Same thing here. A person has to immerse himself totally in Torah. The Ben Yehoyada is the second pshat. He says the pshat is just like the tummy itself becomes Torah. The same thing. When a person throws himself into Torah, there's a dynasty itself turns into zechuyas. But the Chidah and also the Rechaim as a beautiful pshat. They say that the pshat is just like the din is that a person fell into a mikveh. The tefillah zoyloloi only legabe higher levels you need to have kavanah betefillah, but lechulin you don't have to have kavanah betefillah. The woman fell into the river. She fell in. She's torn. A Yid falls into the Beis HaMedrash. Hat doch nicht gelernt kein Yiddish Wort. Noch nicht gedavent. The schus. That's already a moiridige thing. The schus allein. The Pnei Yeshua had a sister. She was a moiridige Talmid Chacham. So in her town there was the minig, the girls called the bas malach penima. They stayed home. But once they got married, so they went to shul. And the first time they came to shul was the Shabbos Ufra finish. So she wrote in a letter to her brother, Samachti ba'omrim li beis Hashem neilach. Samachti, amas besimcha, that now my chosn is going to say, Harei at mikudeshes li. Because of that, beis Hashem neilach will be able to go to shul. Hashem? Samachti ba'omrim li. That samachti ba'omrim li, that to say Harei mikudeshes li, now we can go to shul. So samachti ba'omrim li, that Baruch Hashem, that the Beit HaKnesses and Beit HaMidrashes can open up. And we see from the Gemara that there's a certain maila that the Torah compares the Necholim to the Aholim. Matoi v'alach Yaakov Mishkan Nesach Yisrael, which is Beit HaKnesses and Beit HaMidrashes. And the Necholim, which is a mikveh. Just like a mikveh, Zok the Chidah, just like a mikveh, Zok the Rechaim HaKodesh, you fall into the mikveh, it's Torah. The same thing here. A Yid falt that in shul. He had noch nicht gelernt a Yiddish word, noch nicht gedavent. He didn't even take the siddur in his hand. He's already becomes Torah. So Avada and Avada, that we're learning such a Gemara, it's the right time to open up the Beis HaKnesses, the Beis HaMedrash. This Shabbos, there was a back and forth. I was a Svara hin, a Svara Tzidik. But anyway, Mitzvah Shem for Shavuos will be open. Shekoyach Godel v'otzim to Rabbi Yoel. Thank you, Yoel, for sending out the questionnaire. And the Mitzvah Shem, hopefully tonight, tomorrow morning, we'll have a clear picture of what to do. Chadoshim Labkorim, there seems to be new Gzeiris coming out. Like today, the NYPD sent out new Eidos Chukim Mishpatim. Kedakim B'Kodesh, it's nonsensical. But anyway, we're going to have to work with, figure out how we're going to do. But B'chlolus, the Indian is that we're fortunate that there's two separate buildings. According to this new guideline, it doesn't matter how big your building is. It could be as big as Tevis Noach. You could be in Madison Square Garden. You can only have 10 people in the whole Madison Square Garden.
There's also
God, that's crazy.
You could have the same 10 people. Does that make sense for you? It doesn't make sense to me.
Crazy. It's insane.
So
there's
Madison
also a parking lot backyard.
have 10 people, and the beaches is called Amar Barez Meshubach. Anyway, it's the situation is changing from day to day, and we have side the shul inside the library. In general, I'm not sure. Joel sent out the thing, but there's the general machshava was that we could do 2 minyanim. We could do Shnaim Shem Arba even. We could do more, but we could do Shnaim Shem Arba. We could have Mitzvah Shem before Yom Tov. We're going to send out, as usual, the droshes, the shiurim, the maimorim. Tomorrow night, Bli Neder, I'm going to start the shir a little later because there's a chasna, but Mitzvah Shem will do a fabrengen and we'll do a maimer lekovet Chag HaShavuos. Erev Yom Tov, we'll do the maimer, but we'll do it earlier in the day, not like Friday. We do it at 1 o'clock because there's a lot to do. Erev Yom Tov, people have to take haircuts v'chulu. So we'll do Mitzvah Shem Maimer Erev Yom Tov. And then I'll send out a message. So therefore, we don't have to, all this, the Limud HaChasidus that we're doing together, we'll do Erev Yom Tov. So on Yom Tov itself, we're just doing the davening. The Kriyas HaTorah is not so long. It shouldn't take more than 2 hours. And we're not talking about rushing or anything. Mehoidu, until the end, should be 2 hours. So Mitzvah Shem, there'll be 2 minyanim 9:30 till 11:30, and 2 minyanim 11:30 till 1:30. That's if there's a need. Could be there's b'chal not a need. We don't know. But Yoel sent out questionnaires, and even if we have a big oilam, and we can accommodate for children and for women, gesundheit, l'chayre aseres adibris will be about an hour from the beginning of Hoidu. If you start Hoidu, and it's about 45 minutes, and then there's Psichas Aron, and then you start. So women and children that want to come, they could come 10:30 or 12:30, and they could come for 15 minutes and be there for hearing Aseres Adibris. Chazal say it's a moedidik thing for men, women, and children to be there. And Davish is machshav when a Yid comes to hear Aseres Adibris as if he was mamish there b'shas Matan Torah and came to be Makabel Torah b'yodav shel HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So it's a moedidik thing. So I don't think we're going to have a problem. We have in this base, in the Gufa and upstairs, we have one side and another side. We have one side which we can have 10, 12 women. The other side we can have for a big family that's together. So we can accommodate in the earlier minyan, we can accommodate close to 20 women. In the second, we can accommodate close to 20 women. So I don't think we have more than, basically if every minyan has 10 to 12 people, so you Shnayin Shein Arba, you have about 40 to 48 people. And then you have close to 40 women. So we're talking about close to 100 Yidden Ken Yerbu. I think we're good. So anyway, Mitzvah Shem, everyone will answer the questionnaire, so we'll get a clearer picture of what the Olam wants. But definitely, Samachti B'Imrim Li Beis Hashem Neilach, and Beis Menachem Mendel is opened and back in business. And David shall help from Takem, Afal Tarain, and the Beis HaMikdash Miyat is already that itself. The Holim is like Necholim, just like when a Yid falls into the mikveh Torah, the same thing when Yid fällt rein in a Beis HaKnesses, is schon geworden Tor. As I said, the Mitzvah Shem, hopefully we could accommodate for the women as well, and also children that want to come for 15 minutes and hear Seres Adibris, and then maybe get a pekala with Yud Beis Psukim and some ice cream and so on, and then go home.
On list 29 and Avenue K, there's a shul called Rabbi Twirsky shul.
Yeah.
I saw today they built the sukkah.
Uh-huh.
So the holidays all confused over here. They're building a sukkah for Shavuos and Mask and Shavuos. Something is wrong.
Yeah, Purim and Sukkot and Shavuos all together. As I. Okay, let's go weiter in the Gemara. Zog the Gemara weiter. Akorde l'mafreya. Lo yotza. We said that a person's makode kedishma l'mafreya is not yotza. V'hoya v'aviyasin, he has to read it in the proper order. Zog the Gemara. They were tying up a chuppah for their friend Rebbe Elazar. So Rebbe Elazar the chassan was with them. Amar lahu, he said to them, while you're preparing the chuppah, let me run to the Beis Medrash to hear something. You imagine? It was the day of his chasna. They're getting ready for his chuppah. Ich kann sich hereingappen, ein bisschen hereinlaufen in the Beis Medrash. Ich kann sich hereingappen in the Beis Medrash, allein für ein paar Minuten. Lass mal hereinlaufen in the Beis Medrash. Good. Also, Ashkel Tana the Katonik made Rabbi Yochanan. He met that the Tana was reading the mission in front of Rabbi Yochanan. Koravita, a person was reading Shema, and he made a mistake. He doesn't know where the Torah is. So if it's B'emtza Perek, Yachzer L'Rosh, if it's the middle of a Perek, he doesn't know. He should go to the beginning. He's just, so in other words, he doesn't know where he's holding. He doesn't know where he's holding. So he has to go back to V'afta Hashem L'kecha. He has to go back to V'afta. Meforshim say the Shema Yisrael, the Pashas he said already. And this is a very special emphasis in the Kavan of Shema. So Pashas Shema he said, I mean, he's saying Krishma, what? If he didn't start, then he knows he didn't start. So, but he's confused. He starts Bam V'afta. If his confusion has been Pedek Lepedek, which according to Rashi means Pedek Lepedek should come out Pasha. V'tzarach Lazal Pasha Ached is Venedei Beis Mokim. Yachzek Lepedek Krishin Lehefsa Krishin V'Hayim Shemoya. He knows he already said, but he doesn't know. He doesn't know how much he said. In other words, he knows he said a whole Pasha. Did he say V'Hafta and also V'Hoya, or he said just V'Hafta? So because of Safek, he has to go back to V'Hayim Shemoya. And Ksiva l'Ksiva. If a Safek is, he said Chsaftam, and he doesn't know if it's a Chsaftam in the first Pasha or Chsaftam in the second Pasha. So he has to go back. Yachzal l'Ksiva Rishon, he has to go back to the first because he doesn't know. Meforshim say that it doesn't apply to, for example, Ukshartam. Why? Because it says, even though it says twice, but by Shema it says Ukshartum, and V'Hoyim Shema it says Ukshartim. So usually people don't get confused because they know that they say Ukshartum or Ukshartem. If it's Ukshartum, it's Pasha Rishona. It's Ukshartem, it's Pasha Shnia. But by Ksiva, Chsaftam, it's the same in Pasha Rishona and Pasha Shnia. So if he's confused, he has to go back to Pasha Rishona. This is only if he didn't start saying Laman Yir B'Yemechem. Once he started already Laman Yir B'Yemechem, so already we know why was he saying Laman Yirbu if he didn't start V'Hoyim Shemoya. That's it. The person, even if he's not having kavana, he's going with the regilus of his tongue. So yeah, once he says Laman Yirbu, obviously he already said V'Hoyim Shemoya. I'm telling you the way the Rashba teaches it, not the way Rashi teaches, because that's the way the Alter Rebbe passes on Shulchan Aruch. And Rashi says that it's talking about he finished the whole thing, and he's going back and he's wondering what to do. Anyway, the Maisa, the Rashi Pshat is that once he said Laman Yirbu, he said, oh, fine, so now, you must have finished V'Hoyim Shemoya. If he knows, he says one Parsha. but he doesn't know which parsha. Obviously, you said V'ahavta, so you have to go back to V'hoya. But once you said the words L'man Yirba Yemechem V'Evenechem, obviously you finished V'hoya. So now you only say V'yomer. Amalei Rabbi Yochanan lo shana l'shalei pasach L'man Yirba Yemechem pasach L'man Yirba Yemechem sarach enoket pasach. Rabbi Iyun asks a question. Later in the Gemara is going to ask if I'm a whole machlokes kishma deraisa kishma derabon. If a person has a suffix, he said kishma, didn't say kishma. Over here, because the Gemara macht sich nicht wissendig from the whole Shaklavatariya, and the Gemara macht sich ganz nicht wissendig from the whole Shaklavatariya. So Rabbi Iyun answers, because if you made a toast, then obviously you have to go and be metaken. Unfortunately, explain why. It's like Mila, Zok the Evan Ozel. When you finish the Mila, that's it, you finished. But while you're middle, even if it's a Shabbos, we say Choyzer al tzitzin ha'ma'akvin, tzitzin she'ena ma'akvin. Even tzitzin, little pieces of skin that are not ma'akiv, but while he's in the middle of the Mila, he's supposed to go back to do everything. Same thing here. If a person is mesupik, it's a shaila. He does have to go back. He doesn't have to go back. But if he's a riddle of reading now, that's the lechatchila. Lechatchila, you have to read it, and you have to read it well. And if you made a mistake, you have to go back to the place where we didn't make the mistake. And the Yos says, "V'aviyos and Iyun," you can't be reading it lamafreya, so you can't read it lamafreya. So you have to read it in the right order. You have to read it in the right order. You can't read it lamafreya. Chassidus, a moedic koch in the sinyan that you can't read lamafreya. That is al zet hayomim mo elu niskonim v'nasim. There's no such thing to say. You know what happened 3,400 years ago today was a big deal. The Eden were running to the mikveh and they were getting ready in the Kabbalah Satoida in 72 hours of Papa. It was a big deal. It wasn't a big deal then. Today it's Noisen, Atoida, Loshen Hoive. And if you're Koides HaMagila L'Mafreya, Zog the Baal Shem Tov, he reads it as a story that happened thousands of years ago. Lo Yotza. Same thing with Krishma. You read it L'Mafreya, that it's Lo Yotza. It's Asher Anoichem Etzavcha Hayoim, like we learned in the Gemara in the beginning of the Sugya here. That Kol Yoim V'Yoim Yibnach Gechadoshim, that it's new. Every day the Eibishter gives it. Befrat Matan Torah. Befrat Matan Torah. He said, Oy Bazoi, it's a special Sheikhs Achasen, the Shtikl Torah. Amalei, Lebonu El Lishmoy Davazeh, Dayenu. But them allein is gewesen genug. I mean, there would have been a Beis Medrash anyway. So I'll just say the Gis Fakir that he said, if I didn't run to the Beis Medrash, even though it's my chasana, and I ran away from my chuppah, but the head, that as a shaykh, they're reading the Kirishim Alam Afreya, that you have to read it Kesidran, and the dinim of how to read it Kesidran is Dayenu. As I said, it's the Chmamish Demes as a shaykhas. Because Torah is the connection between the Eibishter, the Chas, and the Yom Chasanosai, and Asher Nechem Tzav Chayoim, B'chol Yom, Yom Nechem Chadoshim. You're not allowed to read it L'Mafreya as if it's an alta zach. V'meila, Zok the Rebbe, that the days of getting ready, and that the mitzvahs, kind of Yom Kodesh, mitzvahs Hagbola, mitzvahs Prisha, we have to know that we're living it now. Not that it was Amol, mitzvahs Hagbola, and mitzvahs Prisha. We're now living Beruchnis, we have to Mekayim now, mitzvahs Hagbola, mitzvahs Prisha, because today is Shloishes Yemei Hagbola. The Eibishter zal helfen, the Taka, we should be able to implement our Avodas Hashem, side the Inyan of Achtus, of Rosh Chodesh, which is the Inyan of Achtus, side the Inyan of Mamlachas Kohen Kodesh, the Bechida, which is the Ma'ale, side the mitzvahs Hagbola, and the mitzvahs Prisha, the beautiful beer from the Rebbe, how the Inyanim fit together. And Blineda, I'll share it on Sunday. Blineda, the Eibishter helfen that we should be makabel the Torah, the Simcha, the Pnimius, and it should be not the Paslamafreya, but it happened then. It should be Smechem Kivinisinosa Mahar Sinai.
Amen. It's interesting also that the Chitas from tomorrow, it's what we finish in the Masechet now, Seita.
Right, exactly. Tomorrow there's also a chasna by a mishpocha, Baruch Hashem, in the Leiranis. So we'll start a little later. I'll send out the Hidoah, and thank you as usual to Yoel for sending it out. We'll probably learn a Maimer, and maybe a Maimer and a Sicha. L'kov et Chag HaShavus. Erev Yom Tov, I'm asking a question.
The chuppah is 3 o'clock. The chuppah is 3 o'clock by President Street, by the Rebbe house.
Yes, yes. Shmulik, do you think the Olam wants to learn Erev Yom Tov for Maimer?
Depends what time.
What time? I'm asking.
Me personally, I can't. I don't know for everybody else.
So maybe we won't. But tomorrow night, does the Olam interested tomorrow night?
Yeah, why not?
Yes.
Okay, so maybe we'll do it tomorrow night. Maybe we'll do a longer thing tomorrow night.
No, but the Rov going to be busy in the Chasana tomorrow night. The Rov going to be busy with the Chasana tomorrow night?
Yeah, but I have to find out. Could be I'll come back earlier. I don't know exactly what time. I'll send out a Heidah, Mitzvah Shem.
Okay.
Okay, good. Bebichas Kabbalas HaTorah besimcha bepnimius. A gute Nacht.
The Rav could always do it every Yontif in the morning, and then we could post it on YouTube, so everybody can watch it when it's convenient.
Oh, das echt Netze. Okay, fine. Thank you, Yoel.
Yeah.
Thanks for the idea.
For bringing out, Marsov.
Thank you. Thank
You're
you,
going to a
Shmulik.
second. You're going to a second for bringing out. So
Yeah. Shkaya, Shmulik.
Michael, that's the
Michael
one from this from technology. You could sit in the house and for bringing it
Unbelievable.
around the world.
Yeah.
It's
Kamaim
amazing.
liyom hachasam. Good. A gute Nacht. Oh, Shmulik, you should go for sponsoring tonight. You should go to you and your wife for sponsoring tonight the share for the women.
Baruch Hashem. She's very good stuff to do.
Amen. Amen. Kol tov, a gute Nacht.
Thank you.
Shkar.
So anybody want, you could see Rav Morozov in a big Farbrengen worldwide.
What time is it?
Now 9:30.
Oh, very nice.
Look in the
What's
basement.
Zoom info?
Look up basement Mendel WhatsApp. I post the Farbrengen that he's going to do now.
I exited the group, so I don't see it. But okay, if you could send it to me again.
Okay.
Because I'm not part of the group.
You're not on basement Mendel?
No, too much going on. It's too disturbing.
I don't blame you. Okay. Okay.
See everybody, Mitzvah Shem, Thursday night or Friday morning. Have a good rest of the week.